That's right, Ilka. We can't think much when we don't know much, but we can wonder. From now until tomorrow morning, when you come to school again, will you do that? Will you wonder why and wonder why? Will you wonder why storks don't come to Sirour to build their nests on the roofs the way they do in all the villages around? For sometimes when we wonder, we can make things begin to happen. Continuing my read through the Newbery Award winners, today we have The Wheel on the School by Meindert DeJong. Meindert DeJong was born in Virum, Friesland in 1906. When he was 8 years old, his family moved to Grand Rapids, Michigan, but they faced a lot of hardships. His mother refused to learn English because she was so homesick, and he struggled in school because of that language barrier to the point where his family almost pulled him out. They also struggled financially, so he and his brothers had to pick up odd jobs to try to help support the family. However, he did make it through school, and he ended up going on to college, after which he became a teacher. But it didn't take him long to realize that teaching was not his path, so he kind of hopped around doing a bunch of different odd jobs, but nothing that really became a career or that could sustain him. He married and ended up becoming a farmer, and then a children's librarian actually suggested that he write some stories based on farm life. He wrote a novel, it was published, and he decided that he was going to become a writer. He ended up mainly writing for children and wrote dozens of novels, many of which won awards. He served in the Air Force in World War II, and when he came back, he had a lot of emotional baggage from the war, and it took him a while to begin writing again. 4 of his books received the Newbery Honor, and then The Wheel on the School received the Newbery Award. He also received the National Book Award for Children's Literature and was the first American to receive the International Hans Christian Andersen Medal. So The Wheel on the School is set in a small fishing village named Sirour in Holland, and it follows the adventures of the 6 school children in the village. Lena is the only girl, and she ends up bringing to attention the fact that there are no storks that nest in Sirour. Storks are known to bring good luck, and all of the children begin to wonder why this is. As in the excerpt at the beginning, the teacher encourages them to wonder and to think, and they kind of go their separate ways, trying to figure out what it is that is causing the storks to pass them by. Lena ends up talking to sort of the grandmother of the village and learns that storks used to nest there many years ago. The children all realize that a big reason the storks no longer nest is that there aren't places for them to nest. In many villages, people put wagon wheels up on their roofs to give a flat space for them to build their shoddy nests, but they don't have anything like that. They also only have one tree in the town, which is a cherry tree, which is carefully guarded by its owner. This sets all of the children off on a quest to locate at least one wagon wheel, if not more, that they can put on the school and other roofs in order to encourage these storks to come nest there again. There's also a bit of a deadline on this because the storks are beginning to migrate, and so if they don't have a place for them to land, they won't be able to get any of the new storks, and they'll have to wait an entire year before they're able to get some storks to nest in their town. As they begin searching for wheels, they end up running awry of some of the townsfolk, but also getting more and more people interested in this quest, in this desire to have the storks start nesting there again. All of the children work together and begin going out trying to find a wagon wheel, and little by little they gather the support, sometimes grudging, but often enthusiastic, of pretty much the entire town. One particular character stands out, and this is Janus, who is a man who has lost both of his legs. So he spends his time with his cherry tree chasing away the birds and the children. The children are rather terrified of him, and you get the sense that he's just given up on life and doesn't really feel that he has any kind of purpose. Over the course of the story, you get to see his transformation and how he realizes that he does have a lot to offer to this town. He's the one who comes up with many plans that help them overcome some of the obstacles, and the children end up coming to enjoy spending time with him, and just seeing him revitalize was one of my favorite parts of the book. I appreciated the way that the children end up connecting with all of these different people of different ages and starting to see that they all have something to add and something of value to this journey that they're on in the town. I really love the enthusiasm of the kids, and there's only a handful of them, but they feel like more because they just kind of burst off the page. I really love the way that the teacher encourages their creativity and their enthusiasm for this project and allows them to work on it instead of doing some of the assigned curriculum, like realizing that their passion for this is going to help them learn lessons that they might not learn otherwise. And I love the way that the whole town kind of comes together behind this project. I also really loved Lena's through line. If you could say there's a main character, she's probably one of them, and seeing how she grapples with some of her fears and really pushes to try to do what she can and also to prove her value in a very boy-centered world, to say that she has something to add that is just as valuable as the boys. This was a little slower paced at the beginning, but there are some pretty exciting and even kind of dangerous moments throughout, and quite a bit of action as they are rescuing wagon wheels and there's a massive storm. And so you see all of the kind of day-to-day things in this small fishing village while also having this larger through line of the storks and the wagon wheel. I really did enjoy this, and I look forward to reading more by this author. Next up, we have Carry On, Mr. Bowditch by Jean Lee Latham. Thanks and happy reading!